Okay, another edition of tradeyourway.co.uk, this time on the FTSE 100. It's Thursday the 27th of September, 10:34. Currently got a signal to go long from around 7520 up to 7560. So there's a potential 40-point move up to retest the 50% fib, the halfway mark of this consolidating range that we've been in for the past about 3 months or so. We topped out at 7903, making a record high, and that was back in around the end of May. And then we consolidated, and we've been reacting to Brexit news all the way, well, ever since really. And there's less than 6 months to go before Brexit exit, so things are a little bit choppy, and we are hanging off every word that's been said. But I do see that we've been down to 7220 area, 7219, and then we've had a nice little bounce up, and it's kind of slowed somewhat. However, it's been using the 38.2 as support, or for support, and you can see the way that its previous support, when we broke down, we had the signal last week, a week before. We had the signal on the Tuesday when it broke out below 7500 to take the short down to the 61.8 fib, which I'll show you in a moment. That was at around 7246. So you can see the way it kind of price has just gone sideways. I'll show you that fib in a moment. But then we've bounced all the way up off that 618. And we're currently using, within this range, we're currently using the 38.2 support. So targeting the next major resistance level, which is the 50% at 7561. So around 7560 area. It's also the resistance 3 on the pivots. So I would like to see this really break long and go and hit that target. As I say, it's only about 40 point move. Up to there, but it's, it is showing signs of being bullish. Clearly, if it was to break down and fail, because there is some mini resistance here, if it does break on down, it would need to break 7480, and in doing so, then the next downside would be 7450. So 7480, 7450. However, if it is going to break up here, then we should be able to get another 40 points out of this. We'll see what happens. It is starting to struggle a little bit, but we'll see what happens. 7480 area for stops if you're long to 7560, and you can see the next support is probably around 7450 area. If it does break down below all of this, then we could potentially see back down using the 38.2 as resistance, and we could see below that could be the signal to sell this back down to 7200s, and then possibly even lower. So we're just kind of looking at the minute to see what's going to happen here. If I just pull up the 4-hour chart just to show you that range that we're in, from 7219, just a little bit clearer than the 1 hour. Kind of just shows the price has slowed a little bit to the upside. I just thought maybe we'd see one more swing up today and then a little drop. Just again, let me just show you that very, very quickly on the daily, where the 618 is. I've put a couple of trend lines, so we're in this channel consolidated range. And then eventually, maybe in the next 6 months, we'll go sideways, and maybe in the next 6 months we'll break out of these trend lines, either long or short. We'll see as the price starts to squeeze, or starts to get squeezed within this range. But you can see the 7246 was the 61.8. That was the target to the downside. It's done that, and you see here we had a rejection clearly here, and then a lot of buying. I do see this being a lot of green, so I do anticipate there being potentially another move to the downside. We would want to put something like another trend line there, just to sort of highlight the pressure being squeezed, or possibly even do one like here, down through onto that one, something like that, which shows then that we've broken on through that trend line. Maybe that would be better. We'll remove that one for the minute. Obviously, if this is the place where it tops out and it does start to go down, then we would adjust our trend line and we would use this one. This trend line would become valid and in play. Right now, it's not quite done until we start getting a signal to short. So we'll remove that one now. It's probably perhaps a little bit premature. We'll see where we're at with this, and update you over the next maybe over the next day, course of today, potentially. Let's see if we get a signal to short. Otherwise, right now we're still looking for longs up to finish a move, potentially up to 7560. We'll leave it there. Thanks for now.